Hey, welcome to Growing. In the last few weeks, I've used the word true brother. That person's a true brother. That person's a true sister. And I've thought about it. What makes a true brother? What makes a true sister in Christ? There's three illustrations I want to give you, and I'm going to use it all with the same man. There's a man named Nathan, and Nathan was a prophet in the reign of David and Solomon's kingship over Israel. The first time we see Nathan and David's dealings was when David came to Nathan and said, "Why is it that I live in this house of cedar, and the Ark of the Covenant is dwelling in a tent?" He says, "I want to build a temple for God," and Nathan agreed. And that night, Nathan was sleeping, and God said, "Tell David not to build this temple. It's not for him to build. It is for his son Solomon to build." So after the contemplation, Nathan comes back to David the very next day and says, "Look, David, I'm sorry to say that you're not going to build this temple. It's going to be your son Solomon that's going to build this temple." At that point, David stopped all construction, any plans to go further, right? Because Solomon was the one that's supposed to build the temple. Then we see the next time. We see that Nathan is the brother of correction. We know the story of David and Bathsheba when he committed his relationship with Bathsheba. Nathan comes to David and tells him a story about a rich man who owned a lot of lambs and a poor man who only owned one. And instead of pulling all the lambs or a lamb out of the rich man's herd, we see that he goes to the poor man and he pulls the one lamb that the man had that was like a pet, and he kills it, and that's what they eat. And David is furious, and Nathan looks at him and said, "You are that man. You killed Uriah. You hid this relationship with Bathsheba. You are the man." And David paid for that dearly. So we see Nathan is a brother because he's a brother of contemplation. He's a brother of correction. But not only this, he's a brother of caution. Nathan gets word about Adonijah. And who's that? That is one of David's son. And at the end of David's life, this son was trying to take over David's throne. Bathsheba and Nathan come to David and tell him about it, and they immediately make Solomon the king over Israel. And all of Adonijah's followers actually dispersed after that. And he was brought in by the priest and Nathan, and they ushered him into this kingship over Israel. Now, I will say this. Nathan was a true brother because he's a brother of contemplation, a brother of correction, but a brother of caution. What do you think would be the greatest honor that you could receive? To me, one of the greatest honors would be this, that a couple thought so much of you that they named their child after you. That's how much they thought of you. In 1 Chronicles chapter 3, verse 5, David and Bathsheba have a son, and guess what they named him? They named him Nathan. I believe this showed, even though he said, "David, don't build the temple. At first I agreed, but I listened to God, and you can't build it. Nathan, you are the man. You're the man who sinned. Nathan, I want to give you a word of caution. Your son's getting ready to try to take over your throne." They thought so much of Nathan and his integrity because he was a true brother in Christ, right? True brother, that they named their son after him in 1 Chronicles chapter 3, verse 5. We need to be true brothers. We need to be true sisters in Jesus Christ. Brothers of contemplation, brothers of correction, also brothers of caution. Hope you have a great day.